Hey everybody, here we are in Game 6 of the 1988 National League Championship Series. I welcome everybody back. This is January 3rd of 2018, and the stadium is packed here in Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. And the series right now is 3-2 with the Mets ahead. And the pitching matchups for today are going to be David Cone, who's an AXZ. So he's an AXZ, has control and strikeout potential, against Tim Leary, a BXZ. And these are the actual lineups and pitching matchups from that game in 1988, Game 6, with the Mets leading it 3-2 in our series and our replay here. And I'm going to go over the batting orders real quick. Not take too much time doing that, but we'll go over. Lenny Dykstra will bat first, playing center field. Wally Backman batting second, and playing second base. Keith Hernandez, in the twilight of his career, batting third and playing first base. Darryl Strawberry, right fielder, and batting cleanup. Kevin McReynolds batting fifth and playing left field. Greg Jeffries has been moved down to the sixth spot to get some more productivity into the Mets lineup, see if they can get some more runs. And he's a third baseman. He's batting sixth. Gary Carter batting seventh, the catcher. Kevin Elster at shortstop batting eighth. And batting ninth will be David Cone. Let me pull his card. Okay, that's fun. And Cone will bat ninth. And that's for the Mets. And then for the Dodgers, you're going to have Steve Sachs at second base, playing second base and batting first. And then you have Mickey Hatcher batting second at first base. Kirk Gibson, left fielder, batting third. Batting fourth is Mike Moose Marshall, playing right field. Playing center field is John Shelby, batting fifth. Batting sixth is Mike Scioscia, the catcher. Batting seventh is third baseman Jeff Hamilton. Batting eighth is Alfredo Griffin, the shortstop. And batting ninth is Tim Leary, the pitcher, grade B pitcher, XZ. And we're going to get started right away. And here's going to be the first pitch. Lenny Dykstra, it's a 51-9 against a B pitcher, is a single line drive up the middle. And Dykstra is at first base. Wally Backman, or Backman, if you will, it's a 42, and that's going to be a walk, but that's going to be modified because Leary's a Z to ball 2. And here, re-roll. It's a 25, which is a 10, with a runner on first base against a B pitcher. It's going to be a single to right center, runner to third, batter steals second on second pitch, 2 strikes on batter. So it's going to be a single. Dykstra scoots all the way to third, and then you have Backman stealing second. So he's on at second, and we have second and third. The Mets are threatening with Keith Hernandez, the hero of yesterday's game. Yesterday's late night affair. We played deep into the night. I think the game ended at about 2 a.m. I started at about, I believe, 1:45. And it was an 11-inning affair in which Hernandez drove in 5 of the Mets' 6 runs. He tied the game in the bottom of the 9th with a 2-run homer, and then in the bottom of the 11th, he singled home the pinch hitter, Tim Tuffle, or the replacement, Tim Tuffle, from third base. And that was all she wrote. So the Mets won yesterday's game 6-5, and Keith Hernandez was the hero. And here he is again. And that's a 26, and he goes down on strikes. Strawberry, 45, is going to be modified, 14 modified, ball 2. Say 56 is a strikeout. That's strikeout number 2. And Kevin McReynolds, again, ball 2. So it looks like Leary's having trouble getting ahead of the batters. It's going to be a 36, a 33, which is a pop-up. First, second, and third. 33 is a pop-up to the short right field. The right fielder comes in, the second baseman goes out, and the right fielder calls for it at the last minute. So it's an F9. And after getting the first 2 runners into scoring position, the Mets fail to drive them home. Hernandez strikes out, Strawberry strikes out, and then McReynolds flies out to shallow right field. So after all that, Mets score none, but do get 2 hits, and after half inning of play, it's Mets 0 and the Dodgers coming to bat. Cone's pitch, 13, it's ball 4. Walked him on 4 straight balls. Mickey Hatcher, 13, is a 22. A 22 is going to be a hit by pitch. So Mickey Hatcher gets hit on the elbow and takes the base, and now the Dodgers have the first 2 runners on. And it's Kirk Gibson, and that's going to be a 45, and that's going to be modified to ball 2. And we got another roll for Gibson, always a dangerous player, Gibson. And that's a 54, a 32, which is a fly ball to right field, and Strawberry calls for it. Mike Marshall. And that ball is deep. That ball is gone. A 3-run shot for Marshall. 3 RBIs, putting the Dodgers up in what is an elimination game for them by a score of 3-0. John Shelby, 1 away. Fly ball right field. Again, Strawberry. Mike Scioscia. It's going to be a ground ball to Cone for the 3rd out. So the Dodgers score 3 runs on 1 hit. And they lead it after 1 inning, 3-0. Go to the top of the 2nd. It's going to be Jeffries. And Carter and Elster. It's 24 is a strikeout. Carter's a foul ball behind the plate. Back to the screen goes Scioscia, and he makes the catch. It's a nice catch. Bounced off the screen a little bit there. It looked like he was going to let that roll out of his glove, but he grabbed it with his bare hand. It's a nice play by Scioscia. And that's a 46, and that's a fly ball to center field for the 3rd out. So 3 up, 3 down for the Mets. And we go to Hamilton, Jeff Hamilton, the 3rd baseman. He plays, I believe, about 7 years in the major leagues, and I believe it was, this is 88, 89 was his only full season as a starter, as a regular player, and didn't do very much. He batted around 250, hit about 12 home runs in a full season. So definitely not what the Dodgers were looking for in a corner infielder. But he does have a glove. He sure does have a slick glove with a 5 as a fielder. Let's roll 41, and that's a 24, and that's a bouncer to the shortstop. Elster over to first, 1 away. And you have Alfredo Griffin, and that's a chopper to the second baseman. He flips over to first, and that's 2 away. And now Tim Leary. And 61 is a 23. I don't know what that is. It's going to be a line drive to center fielder, but it seems to hit off the glove, the heel of the Dykstra's glove for an error. So it's an E8 allowing Leary to reach base. He's an average speed runner. And now we have Steve Sachs, runner on, 2 outs. It's going to be 44 as an 8 against Cone. An 8 against Cone, and that's going to be an A pitcher. That's going to be a ground ball to the first baseman, and Cone better get over there to cover, and he does, and that's a 3rd out. David Cone leads off the top of the 3rd inning for the Mets. It's a 46. That's a fly ball. Shelby, 1 away. Dykstra. And goes down swinging for the 4th strikeout for Leary. Bachman, 66, and that's going to be a double. Lines that into the gap in right center field. And it looks like Shelby's going to get to it. He throws it back in, and they hold Bachman to a double. A 2-out double. Another hit for the Mets. 3rd hit of the game for the Mets. And it's Keith Hernandez, last night's hero. And that's going to be a fly ball. And that's Gibson under it for the 3rd out. And we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Mickey Hatcher was hit by a pitch last time. 53 is going to be a ground ball that the second baseman, Bachman, can't handle. And that's going to be an E4. So Hatcher's on. He's a slow runner, so he's going to be moving up 1 base at a time. 22, and that's going to be against an 8 pitcher. That's a ball that is hit to the first baseman. First baseman feels it, flips over to Cone covering, and that moves Hatcher to second base. Moose Marshall, he hit a 3-run homer last at bat, and this is going to be looks like it's going to be a high fly, and it's Bachman under it, and that's 2 away. And John Shelby flied out to right in his first at bat, and that's going to be a 0, so that may get a run home. Let's see what happens here. 22, that ball is deep. That ball is gone over the fence. A 2-run shot. So that error by Bachman really cost the Mets. It extended the inning, and it allowed Shelby to come up and really get a hold of one and put it over the fence. So now the Dodgers are up 5-0 here in the bottom of the 3rd inning with Mike Scioscia, the batter. 24, that's a fly ball. Dykstra. And that's out number 3. So the Dodgers do get 2 runs on 1 hit. A home run by John Shelby, the center fielder. And we go to the top of the 4th. It's Darryl Strawberry. 21. Curveball down on strikes. Kevin McReynolds. Ground ball. Griffin over to first, 2 outs. And Jeffries struck out last time at bat. It's gonna be that's going to be a strikeout. Goes down on strikes. 3 up, 3 down for the Metsies in the top of the 4th. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Jeff Hamilton. And that's a 62. That's a chopper over to the second baseman, Bachman. Over to first. 1 away. Alfredo Griffin, the shortstop, he grounded to second base last time up, and that's a 22. It's going to be a pop. And that Jeffries calls for that one. He gets it. 2 away. Leary, 13 is a 22. With nobody on base is a ground ball to the first baseman. First baseman flips to Cone. And that's 3 up, 3 down. Well, that's the easiest inning that the Mets and Cone have had so far in this game. Now, on paper, Cone looks real good as an A against Leary, who's a B. So on paper, the Mets would have the pitching advantage, but it's not turning out that way at all. So you never know what's going to happen here. It's a ground ball, easy out for the shortstop, Griffin. Another chopper to Griffin. Griffin rushes in, throws, and gets Elster by a step. David Cone. That's going to be a fly, high pop. And that's going to be Marshall under it. And that's a third out. 3 up, 3 down. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Steve Sax, the top of the order for the Dodgers. And it's a 33, which is a single. So the speedster is on base. Hatcher has 3 31s and a 41. So something I don't normally do is hit and run. But in this case, I'm going to hit and run and see if we can stay out of the double play and get that runner over to second. So hit and run with Mickey Hatcher. And that's going to be a 16, and that's going to be a one-hopper to the shortstop, who has no chance for the force out because Sax was going on that, and Sax moves over to second base. So that's exactly what we were looking for. We got Sax in scoring position with only 1 out. Kirk Gibson, 54, fly ball, right field, with a runner on second. And Strawberry's a 1 fielder. We're going to double check, make sure there's no advance to third on that. No, there is not. Okay. And we have Mike Marshall, who homered, hit a 3-run homer in that first inning. And it's a 53, a 16 with a runner on second. Dykstra's a 2 fielder. And that's going to be a single to center, runner out at home, batter to second on throw, 8-2. So it's an amazing throw by Dykstra. And he throws out. It's a single, and they throw out Sax trying to score. And that's the end of the inning. So the Dodgers get 2 hits, but don't get a run in. And we go to the top of the 6th inning. Len Dykstra, who chased down that ball and made a great throw to get Sax out at home, is up. And that's a 51, a single. So Dykstra gets his second hit of the game, and he's on at first. And 62 is a 13. That's a strikeout number 7 for Leary. Keith Hernandez. And that's a 33. That's going to be a 0. So we're going to roll on a double column. 25. That ball's hit deep. That ball is long gone. Keith Hernandez puts it out of Dodger Stadium. And that sounds like it quiets the crowd a little bit. Not that much. And there you go, a 2-run homer, the 3rd home run in 2 days by Keith Hernandez. I think he only hit 15 home runs that season. 12 to 15 home runs in that 88 season. But he sure is stroking them here in the National League Championship Series. Darryl Strawberry scored 5-2. And it's a 36, which is a 33 on the card, and it's a high pop-up. And Sax calls it 2 away. Kevin McReynolds singles, steals second. He's at second base. And we have, I reverted back to my old style scorekeeping. I do have a tendency to do that every so often. Single and a stolen base. And McReynolds actually stole about 21 bases consecutively without being caught. at the end of the 1988 season. So he really knows how to choose his spots. Didn't steal all that many bases that year. I think he stole about 29, which is not a bad number. But just in general, that's an interesting fact. Greg Jeffries. And that's a 31, which is an 8 with a runner on second. It's going to be an out against a B pitcher. That's going to be an out back to the pitcher, and he flips over to first for the third out of the inning. The Mets do come up with 2 runs on 3 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're going to have 3. They're going to have 6 hits. Okay. 3 hits, 4, 5, 6 hits. That's what we got there. Okay. So we're going to go to the bottom of the 6th inning. Mets scored 2. Let's write that in. And John Shelby is the batter. Cone is still in there, 36. And that's going to be a pop-up to the second baseman. Mike Scioscia, 46, fly ball. Dykstra calls it. 2 away. And Jeff Hamilton, 22. That's to the first baseman. Cone's going to have to cover. He gets over there in time, and they get Hamilton for the third out. Top of the 7th, 5-2 the score. Dodgers up in Game 6 of the replay of the 1988 National League Championship Series. Okay, that ball is a strikeout. Threw that one right by him, right by Carter. Couldn't catch up with that. Kevin Elster. And that's going to be a 0. We're going to have a double column roll here. A 14 is a double. So Elster gets into one. And the Shelby tracks it down and gets it in to keep Elster at second. And we're going to have a pinch hitter for Cone. It's that time in the game, guys. It's going to be Mackie Sasser is going to come in. He's going to pinch hit for Cone. See what happens with a runner in scoring position on second base. Score 5-2. Sasser, 26. Let's see what that looks like. A 24. That's a high pop in the infield, and the shortstop Griffin calls everybody off and takes that one. So Sasser basically pops up as a pinch hit, and we go to Len Dykstra. Len Dykstra is 2 for 3 in this game. He scored a run in that 6th inning. And that's a 23, a 29. And that's going to be a ground ball over to the first baseman, Hatcher. Hatcher flips over to Leary, and that's the third out of the inning. So the Mets strand 1. And after 6.5 innings of play, it's the Dodgers 5 and the Mets 2. So it's going to be Griffin, Leary, and then the top of the order with Sachs. 25, and that's a 9, but a 9 is going to be a ground ball, shortstop, over to first, 1 down. 35. Again, Elster. Elster gets to it, rifles it over to first, 2 away. And Sachs. 33, that's going to be a single up the middle. He stroked that one. Frozen rope for Sachs, the speedster at first base. Hatcher. A 9 with a runner on first against an A pitcher. Single, an infield single for Hatcher, who really doesn't run very well. But he got down the line on that one. That's a surprise. So now Cone must we had to bring in a pitcher. So it better be an A because we use some A stats. So let's see who we can bring in who's an A. The only A that I can see right now for the Mets is their closer, Myers. So they have Leach, they have Aguilera, they have McDowell. So Myers is going to be forced to come in so we don't have to replay anything. That's too bad. Okay, so we're going to actually start the inning. Bring Leach in. And it's Kirk Gibson. Randy Myers in the ball game now. I don't know what I was saying. Okay, so Kirk Gibson. It's a fly ball. Strawberry under it for the third out. So they do get 2 hits, but don't score again. The Dodgers lead it 5-2 going to the top of the 8th inning. And it's going to be Backman. Backman is 2 for 3 in this game. He has a single in the first, a double in the third, struck out in the 6th. 66, and that's going to be another double. Again into the gap, and he's going to go into second standing up. Keith Hernandez. 55 is an 8 against a B pitcher. That's going to move the runner over for sure. Say ball back to the pitcher. The runner gets to third, and that's 1 away. Darryl Strawberry with a runner on third. 36. That's a pop-up. Fly ball to center field. And the center fielder calls for that one. Shelby with the second out of the inning. And Kevin McReynolds is up. And that's an 11 with a runner on third against a B pitcher. That's a single to center, runner scores, and a stolen base. RBI, single RBI. It's a 2-out single by McReynolds driving in Backman. And it's 5-3 now, and McReynolds is at second. And it looks like the Dodgers are going to go to their bullpen. The Dodgers are going to go to their bullpen. Do not want to let this one get out of hand. Going to bring in Holton, Brian Holton, an A pitcher. Holton's going to be blue for Tim Leary. And Holton is an AYZ. And he's going to go up against Jeffries. And that's going to be with 2 outs. A runner on second, a 25, I believe, is a line out. And it is a line drive to the shortstop, Griffin. It's a nice catch of that one. And that's all she wrote, but the Mets pick up 1 run on 2 hits. And after 7.5, the Dodgers lead it 5-3. So the Mets are going to go to the bullpen again. And it's going to be Roger McDowell. And he's going to be a BZ. And go to yellow for him. He's going to pitch against at least 3. Okay. McDowell pitching for the Mets. And it's going to be Mike Marshall, John Shelby, and Mike Scioscia. 33, and that's going to be a double for Mike Marshall. So that's a rough greeting for Roger McDowell on the first pitch. He strokes a double into the gap. And now he's in scoring position. Now he's a average runner, so he's going to be moving. Shelby, 53, a 17 with a runner on second. And the 17 is a right fielder's number. So Strawberry's a 1 out there. And that's going to be a single and a run scores. So John Shelby singles in Mike Marshall, and the Dodgers now lead it 6-3. Mike Scioscia, 13. That's going to be ball 2 because of the modifier. The Z modifier, 46. It's a fly ball. Dykstra, 1 away. Jeff Hamilton, 45. Modifier, ball 2. 62. It's going to be a chopper to the second baseman. He flips over to the shortstop, Elster, for the fielder's choice. 2 away, run around first. Now we're going to go to Griffin. And that's a 66, which is a 0 on the card. And we're going to go into the double column here. And that's going to be a single. Dykstra gets over there quickly, holds it to a single, but on the next pitch, he takes off and steals second. So now we have second and third, and the pitcher spot. The pitcher spot is coming up, and that's Holton. Brian Holton is going to be called back, and they're going to bring up Franklin Stubbs. Franklin Stubbs is going to bat. Stubbs for Holton, bottom of the 8th. And that's an A. McDowell is still in there, trying to pitch out of trouble this time. Here goes Stubbs. That's going to be a 62, and that's strike 3. So it's 1, 2, 3 hits, 1 run. And it's going to be, the score now is 6-3. Dodgers, top of the 9th. It's going to be Gary Carter. And it's going to be a new pitcher. New pitcher is going to be Pena, Alejandro Pena, A. He's an A pitcher. And an X and a Z. All right, here goes Gary Carter, 23. Say 1 hopper to the second baseman, sacks over to first, 1 away. Kevin Elster, 42, and that's a strikeout. That's going to be pinch hitter. That's going to bring in a pinch hitter. Let's see who they grab here. It's going to be Lee Mazzilli. Going to write him in. Lee Mazzilli for McDowell in the top of the 9th. See what happens with Mazzilli. There's 2 away. 34, that's a ground ball to the third baseman. Hamilton grabs it over to first, and that's the 3rd out, and that's the end of the game. The Dodgers, they win it, and they tie the series at 3 apiece. The final score, Dodgers 6. And the Dodgers had 1, 2, 3. 8 hits, it looks like. 6 runs, 8 hits, and no errors that I can see. And the Mets have 3 runs, on 9. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 on 9 hits. And the errors for the Mets, 1, 2 errors. And that's all she wrote for Game 6 of the 1988 National League Championship Series replay between the Mets and the Dodgers. The Mets win at 6-3, and that takes us to Game 7. And stay tuned for Game 7, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.